Here is how I cleared my skin naturally, and you can too. Step 1, eat real food. One of my biggest epiphanies was that food can actually be more powerful and effective at clearing acne than topical skincare. Now, this is mind-blowing, right? We're so used to just focusing on what's on the outside. I started eating more whole, real foods than ever before, especially vegetables. And when I had acne, the only servings of veggies that I got came from French fries and tomato sauce on pizza. So this was a huge upgrade for me. I also added in fruit, beans, lentils, nuts, and seeds, which I was not really eating before. I mean, before I was basically just eating junk food, fast food, McDonald's, takeout, pizza, all that kind of stuff. So I went from eating primarily processed foods to primarily whole foods, and it was like the gates of heaven had opened up. When you switch to eating mostly whole foods that are unprocessed, not only will it help your skin clear up, it will improve your mood, your immunity, your weight, and lower your risk for various chronic diseases. You may be wondering, how does food affect acne? Well, there are several ways. Whole, real foods are rich in critical nutrients that our bodies and skin need. Research shows that acne can be caused by a variety of nutrient deficiencies such as vitamin A, vitamin D, zinc, or omega-3, which whole foods provide. Even if you're only deficient in one of these nutrients, you greatly increase your chances of acne. Secondly, plant-based whole foods provide fiber, which aids in elimination and hormone balance. Fiber also feeds the good bacteria in your gut. And when the bacteria in your gut are happy and in balance, this helps to reduce inflammation. Since acne is an inflammatory condition, anti-inflammatory foods are able to powerfully and effectively reduce acne from the inside out. And finally, whole foods generally have a low glycemic load, meaning they help to keep your blood sugar more stable, and they don't cause those large spikes and crashes in blood sugar the way that refined and processed foods do. This is a really important point if you have acne, because dozens of human studies have shown that a high glycemic diet that causes your blood sugar to go like this increases the risk of acne, while a low glycemic load diet, which keeps your blood sugar stable, can actually help reverse acne. So, for example, a Turkish cross-sectional study that included 2,300 teenagers, researchers found that the teens who frequently consumed added sugars had a 30% greater risk of developing acne, while those who regularly ate pastries and cakes had a 20% greater risk. Now, on the flip side, there are several studies showing that when you switch from a high glycemic diet to a low glycemic load diet, you can actually reverse acne. So, a study published in the Journal of the American Academy of Dermatology examined the impact of a low glycemic diet on acne. Of the nearly 3,000 participants with acne who followed the diet, 87% said they had less acne, and 91% said they needed less acne medication at the end of a 3-month period. That's crazy, like 80 to 90% reduction in acne, 80 to 90% of the people noticed a reduction in their acne and needed less acne medication. I mean, that is huge, and just in 3 months. In another study, a randomized controlled trial published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, and I'll link all these studies below, which included 43 males with acne aged 15 to 25, researchers found that at the end of 12 weeks, those who followed a low glycemic load diet instead of a normal diet had significantly less acne. This was definitely true for me. When I had acne, I was eating a ton of sugar and refined carbohydrates like pizza, pasta, bread, crackers, cereal. And when I reduced all these foods and eliminated them and replaced them with whole foods, with whole grains, with more nutrient-dense foods, well, that significantly impacted my skin, my mood, my gut, and I mean, my skin actually cleared up in 3 months. After 4 to 5 years of struggling with acne and trying all the medications and all the things, it actually only took me 3 months to clear my skin by changing my diet. So I know that changing your diet can seem a little overwhelming, so I'm going to share some of the recipes and the things that helped me, because trust me, I promise you, my diet was way, way worse than whatever it is that you're eating right now. I was addicted to sugar at that time, but I didn't give up sweet food entirely. I just upgraded where that sweetness was coming from. I relied primarily on whole food fruit sweeteners like bananas, dates, or applesauce to sweeten my desserts. They come with fiber and nutrients to nourish your body, and they help to minimize a blood sugar spike compared to refined sugar, which doesn't have that fiber attached to it. I also tended to pair, whenever I was eating sweet things or fruit, I paired it with protein and fat like nuts or nut butter, which also further helps to keep your blood sugar stable. I used to make banana ice cream all the time. This was my go-to recipe to get over sweet cravings, and it really worked. To make it, you just need 2 frozen bananas, cacao powder, or you can use chocolate protein powder, which I actually prefer, some almond butter, and you can use a collagen powder, or if you're using cacao powder, use a scoop of regular protein powder. Then you blend this up in a high-speed blender, and it makes the most delicious and creamy soft serve ice cream. Instead of cookies, I started eating things like dates stuffed with nuts or nut butter, and vegan dark chocolate that was 75 or 85% or more. When buying store-bought snacks, I looked for things that were sweetened with coconut sugar, maple syrup, honey, monk fruit, or stevia. Monk fruit or stevia don't raise your blood sugar at all, and if you like the taste of them, they are actually the most clear skin friendly option. They weren't as popular back in the day when I had acne, but now if I was going through it, I would look primarily for monk fruit and stevia, pure monk fruit and pure stevia. Now for breakfast, I would make a blueberry blemish glass smoothie, which I will link to the recipe in the description. It was a great way to start the morning because it was rich in antioxidants and omega-3s that help to bring down inflammation and redness. For dinner, I loved making a quick vegetable Thai curry. You can use any vegetables that you have on hand. I love a mix of broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots. And you can even use pre-chopped or frozen if you don't have the time or the budget for fresh. For protein, I liked using jarred chickpeas, but you could use any light-colored bean or organic tofu or wild seafood like calamari or shrimp. I'll link to the full recipe below. Step 2, nourish your gut. The gut and skin may seem like 2 completely separate organs, but they are intricately connected. In fact, this connection is dubbed the gut-skin axis, and it is one of the major keys to clear skin. A highly processed diet, stress, antibiotics, and other medications can all disrupt your gut. For some people, their symptoms are mild and they don't really notice any outward gut issues, but for others, they are more pronounced. So you may experience regular bloating, gas, constipation, and maybe even frequent stomach aches. These are all a sign that something is off with your gut. Whether or not you feel your gut symptoms, if you have acne or other inflammatory skin conditions for that matter, like psoriasis, you will likely benefit by paying more attention to your gut health. Research shows that people with acne exhibit lower gut bacteria diversity, meaning they have less different types of bacteria in their gut. So people with acne tend to have lower amounts of good bacteria such as lactobacillus and bifidobacteria species, which support the gut lining and reduce inflammation. People with acne also tend to have higher amounts of the not so good or opportunistic bacteria, which do the opposite. They can compromise the gut barrier and contribute to inflammation. Remember, inflammation is a cause of acne. Now, there are several things that you can do to combat this. For me, one of the most impactful things that I did was start taking a probiotic with lacto and bifidobacteria. I also had a lot of bloating at the time, so this not only helped my skin, it also helps knock out the chronic bloat. Now, it took me a while to find a probiotic that worked though, as there are a lot of ineffective, poorly made probiotics on the market. So you have to find a high quality one that has the specific strains that you need and in an impactful amount or an impactful dose. In fact, probiotics helped me so much that I worked with a top probiotic company for several years and recently created my own probiotic specifically tailored to support skin clarity and reduce bloat. It's called BIOME. It's made with clinically validated strains in efficacious doses and is doctor approved. I'll link to it in the caption. Now, in addition to taking a probiotic, you should also incorporate more naturally fermented foods into your diet, which are a source of probiotics as well. This includes things like sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, natto, and coconut yogurt. Pickles can also be a source of probiotics, but you want to make sure that they are traditionally pickled or lacto-fermented. You want to watch out for any brands that are quick pickled. Some companies, to save time and money, use a quick pickling process that uses vinegar to give the sour pickle taste without the probiotics. Real fermented pickles will not have vinegar in the ingredient list, and you'll generally only find them in the refrigerator section. Step 3, master your mind and manage stress. If you're eating super healthy and you're still breaking out, then it's time to look at your stress levels. Stress really can cause acne for multiple reasons. First, it raises your cortisol levels, which can actually increase your sebum production, making your skin more oily and prone to breakouts. Secondly, stress negatively impacts your gut, which creates inflammation, which we just talked about is the main root cause of acne. And third, it increases free radical production and oxidative stress, which is associated with inflammation and acne. One of the first studies that showed a link between stress and skin was published in 1953 in the Journal of Laboratory and Clinical Medicine. When researchers conducted a purposely stressful interview with acne-prone individuals, they reported an acne flare-up within just a few days. A similar, more recent study involving college students found that acne increased during examination time. And another study with female medical students found that stress severity strongly correlated with acne severity. So, if you're stressed, there are several things that you can do. First, breathe. Seriously, when we are chronically stressed, this activates our sympathetic nervous system and pushes our body into a state of constant fight or flight mode. When you're stressed, your body just does not work optimally. Slow, deep breathing is scientifically proven to shift your body from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system, otherwise known as a state of rest and digest. And it literally takes just 1 minute. There are many different breathing exercises you can do. You can look up, they're all on YouTube, but the simplest one that I really like is called the 2x breathing, where your exhale is two times longer than your inhale. So if you breathe in for 2, then you will exhale for 4. And you basically just repeat this for 1 minute and you will feel instantly calmer. You can even pause the video right now and do it and see for yourself. Secondly, make sure you're taking a probiotic. As you know, stress has a negative impact on your gut microbiome, wiping out some of the good bacteria, allowing the pro-inflammatory bacteria to increase and potentially damage the gut lining, all which creates inflammation and leads to breakout. Now, I have another video on the gut-brain-skin axis, which I'll link, where you can learn more about this. But in a nutshell, research dating as far back as the 1930s has showed that when we're stressed, this creates dysbiosis in the gut, and this dysbiosis creates inflammation in the gut, but also throughout the body. And when there's inflammation in the entire body, that can also lead to inflammation in the skin, aka breakouts. All right, I know that was a super long video, but I wanted to give you a big picture view of really what it takes to clear your skin naturally from within. Your diet plays a huge role. Your gut health plays a huge role. Of course, hormone balance plays a huge role, but your diet and stress reduction help with that. And so it's not going to happen overnight, but it's also not going to take forever either. So if you want to clear your skin naturally, I would love to be your guide. Be sure to check out and download my Clear Skin Plan. It has a complete step-by-step guide on how to do exactly that, and it's filled with over 100 delicious skin clearing recipes. So if you liked this video and found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and you can hit that bell button so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.